between them and their physicians, and not for the future head of HHS to be putting out misinformation about the dangers of SSRIs and other antidepressant medication, spreading the stigma and the fear that we're actually trying to overcome.
Do you think physicians...
What's up, folks? Welcome back to another video. We are going to be reacting to this video that I saw. This is Senator Smith and RFK Jr. clashing over antidepressants. So basically, she's wants everybody to be on antidepressants. There's nothing wrong with that. It's totally fine. You're totally fine, okay? She's trying to gaslight at you into thinking that millions of Americans being prescribed hundreds of thousands of medications to help with their depression, which is fake, by the way. She thinks that's totally fine, and that RFK's the crazy person because he doesn't think that's healthy, and he thinks maybe people should start cutting back on that, detoxing their body from these chemicals that they're putting in their body. And apparently he's insane for that. So let's take a look at this video and just see how crazy these people are and how sane RFK actually sounds.
So you can't say that people...
To oppose any preconceived ideas that I may have. I just want to have good science.
So you're not saying that they aren't dangerous, which means that they could be dangerous. Let me ask you this.
That's not true.
By the way, I feel like it's a little ironic that the left is the party of trust the science, and RFK is coming here with the science. And they're like, oh, well, it's not about that. We just don't like your opinion. We don't like your science. Oh, okay. So I guess your science is good whenever it's, you know, COVID or whatever, but our science is bad when it's telling people that maybe they shouldn't be ingesting chemicals on the reg.
You've described Americans who take mental health medications as addicts who need to be sent to wellness farms to recover. Is that what you believe?
Of course.
Based? Let's see if he actually said that. I doubt it.
I didn't say that anybody should be compelled to do anything.
No, but you said they should be sent.
I said they should be available to them. I didn't say they should be sent.
You said that folks that take
screaming.
antidepressants are like addicts.
See, here's the thing. This is what these people do. They'll latch on. She's obviously losing, okay? She doesn't really have, this is like her hill to die on, I guess, and it's a bad hill to die on because there's not much there. She's going to have a hard time defending this position. And what she does, instead of actually refuting his claims, they never do that. Instead of actually just attacking the substance of his arguments and his claims, she just decides to attack him like he's a crazy person. Take a sentence he said out of context and like add on to that, like basically lying. This is just lying. Taking what he's saying he said stuff that he didn't, and just lying about him. But this is just what they do. Just an FYI. If somebody's got a bad case and you're winning, this is what they do.
That I can provide that.
Oh, I think they should have the availability. Listen, I know people, including members of my family, who've had a much worse time getting off of SSRIs than people have getting off of heroin. It's the withdrawal period is, I mean, and it's written on the label.
I have some experience.
And it's actually worse when people are addicted to things like this because it's legal. So no one sees it as a problem. At least if you're doing heroin, even the most hardened crackhead out there has to be like, you know what? Probably isn't the best lifestyle. You know what? Shooting up probably isn't the best thing to do. You know, at least there's a stigma around heroin. As opposed to you can pop antidepressants all day and nobody has a problem with that. That's why it's really dangerous.
Myself, Mr. Kennedy, this is personal for me. When I was a young woman and I was struggling with depression, thankfully, I had the reason.
Fake. You weren't struggling with depression. Depression is fake. Okay, it's a mindset. If you're depressed, go out and take a run, lose weight, make a good meal, do something fun, pick up a hobby. Do something. Think about someone other than yourself, okay? All depression is a symptom of extreme selfishness. It's just telling you, if you're feeling depressed, it's just telling you, hey, you think about you too much. That's why you're feeling this way. Because we're not supposed to just think about us all the time. There's other things going on other than you.
Resources to help me get through it. Including a new generation of SSRI uptake inhibitors, which help to clear my mind, get me back on track to being a mom and a wife and a productive, happy person. I'm
really glad she's a senator, right? Doesn't it make you feel great that somebody who has to take medication in order to be a normal, sane person is running our government and has a position in politics as a senator, is making laws? Boy, that makes me feel really good. Taking depressants and a woman. Yikes.
Really grateful for that therapy. So I have some experience with this, and I think that everyone should have access to that care. And your job as secretary is to expand access to care, not to spread lies and misinformation. And the thing,
can we stop using the word misinformation too? It's so old. It's that whenever I hear misinformation, I just immediately think, okay, you're lying, and whatever the misinformation is, it's obviously the truth.
That you say, Mr. Kennedy, they live on. They have impact. And, we're having this conversation at the same moment that my Republican colleagues are looking to try to figure out how to save money any way they can. And so they want to cut Medicaid. Let's just think about this for a minute. Because you're going to be...
Yeah, Medicaid is one of the biggest drains in the American economy. Check it out. And by the way, the Medicaid system is being sapped by the government agencies who are supposedly giving out Medicaid. A lot of the Medicaid isn't even going to people. It's these government agencies, it's social services, it's all these little agencies that are also sucking off Medicaid. They're like, well, we think we should have this program. No problem, Medicaid will pay for it. It's insane, the drain that Medicaid has been on the American economy. Hate how high your taxes are? Blame that.
Should you be confirmed, you would be responsible for CMS, which provides mental and behavioral health care to millions of Americans. Close to 40% of folks on Medicaid have a behavioral health condition. And you would be part of this administration that would be looking...
Oh, great. So our taxpayer money are paying for loonies to get free Cheetos. I love that. Don't you love that for us?
To cut Medicaid. So, Mr. Kennedy, these statements that you've made linking antidepressants to school shootings, they reinforce the stigma that people who experience mental health every day.
Okay, kind of seems fair if he even said it, but that seems fair. You didn't, back before the age of people popping pills all the time and antidepressants and all these medications, back before then, school shootings weren't a thing. Okay, this is a modern issue. During the same time era that we have everybody on medication and everybody taking this and that and the other, we also have school shootings, which is unprecedented. Okay, so you can't say, maybe it's a coincidence. Maybe it's a coincidence. Who knows?
Face every single day. And I'm very concerned that this is another example of your record of sharing false and misleading information that actually really hurts people.
Senator, you're mischaracterizing my statements.
I am only putting into the record what you have said, Mr. Kennedy.
You're mischaracterizing my statements, and I'm happy that you had a good experience on SSRIs. Many Americans have a very good experience on it. Others have not.
That would be an issue between them and their physicians, and not for the future head of HHS to be putting out this.
Here's the thing. Physicians are paid to prescribe certain medications. So when you go to the doctor and you think, okay, great, they said, okay, we know what your condition is. We think this is going to be the best medication for you. This is going to help your problem. They're not doing that because they're going through all this different medication that's on the books. They're prescribing you a certain kind of medication because they are being paid. It's like an advertiser. When I advertise a T-shirt from a company that's sponsoring the show, I'm advertising that shirt because they're paying me to advertise that shirt. When there's millions of shirt companies I could be pumping. But I'm pumping that shirt because they're the ones who's paying me, okay? And that's cool and all whenever it's in a situation like this, when it's advertising a podcast that doesn't affect your life. When it comes to giving medicine out to somebody, that's a big deal. So actually just saying that should be between you and for your physician doesn't solve anything because your physician is being paid off to prescribe you certain drugs.
Information about the dangers of SSRIs and other antidepressant medication spreading the stigma and the fear that we're actually trying to overcome.
Do you think physicians, when they make that prescription, ought to have access to good science?
Of course they do. And
that's all I believe, too. And you and I are in agreement, Senator.
And to your point that you made when you made these statements, it was not based on good science. I don't know what it was based on.
I was saying this.